Hey everyone, welcome to the Deep Developer YouTube channel. So if you are working as an Java backend developer or the Spring developer or planning to move into enterprise Java development, then this video extremely for you. So today we are going to discuss about Spring Framework 7 major features which was released a few days back. So this video is not just about the version upgrade. The Spring Framework 7 represent a clear shift into how the Spring applications are expected to be designed and built. So most of you are working on the Spring 5 or the Spring Boot 3, and this is completely normal in the enterprise project. So this is the first video of the playlist. So this video will be focusing only the Spring Framework 7 major features. The next video will focus on the Spring Boot 4 major features, and after that we'll make separate video explaining the each features with a dedicated real life projects. So in this video I will explain the 7 more major features of the Spring Framework 7, and for the each features I will be cover why this features is added and the real industry problem behind it and how we used to solve it earlier and how Spring 7 solve it now. And I will try to give you some old code versus new code and what you should start learning today. So let's get started with the video. So before going ahead with the video, I will request you please subscribe to the Deep Developer YouTube channel where I make videos on Java, Spring Boot, microservices, API development. So let's get started with the video. First feature was the modern Java baseline. So we need to have minimum Java 17 and it is recommended to use Java 25. So Spring Framework 7 clearly says that this waiting period is over. So Spring is now designed with the assumption that you have the modern Java language features and you can use modern JVM improvement. You can take the advantage of new concurrency model. Spring 7 is not just compatible with these features, it is designed to benefit from them. So if you see these industry level use cases, so in the modern system, we most of the application are network heavy, IO bound, and we are calling multiple services and the database. So earlier, like handling thousands of concurrent request, like request a large thread pool. So with the virtual threads, the Spring application can handle high concurrency using simple, readable, and synchronous code. So this is the major improvement of the enterprise stream. So in the old approach, you can see this code snippet. You used to create this new fixed thread pool. And the problem with this old approach is that the thread pool consumed a lot of memory. The blocking calls wasted OS thread. Dragging the thread issue is difficult. So in the new approach, the virtual threads are extremely lightweight and blocking IO is no longer expensive, and you can create a thousands of threads safely, and the codes remain simple and readable. So what you should do now, so even if your company is not moving to Spring 7 immediately, of course it will not move to immediately, so you should start learning Java 17, like Java 17 or above version. It is recommended to learn like Java 25 and try to experiment with the new virtual thread. Next feature is built-in resilience in this Spring 7 framework. So in the today's systems, the failure are not like exceptional. So they are normal. Microservices like talk to other microservices, external API, different cloud managed database, different messaging systems. So any of these can fail temporarily. Earlier, like Spring treated resilience as an optional concern handled by the third-party libraries. Like we used to use some third-party libraries to handle those kind of failures. Now Spring Framework 7 changes this mindset completely. So Spring 7 bring basic resilience pattern directly into the core framework, such as retry with backup, concurrency limiting, declarative configurations. So this send a strong message that every Spring developer must think about failure handling. So if you see this in this industry use cases, they consider there is a service call of the payment gateway or the shipping provider. So if there is any temporary network failure or we got some 500 error and there is some outage, so if you fail immediately, then there is a lot of losses in your business. So here the Spring 7 provides standard and declarative resilience. Older approach, if we see, we used to do this retry mechanisms, and it is like boilerplate heavy and hard to read. Different teams is implemented retries differently. So there is no framework level standard. So in this new approach, it is very readable, declarative, and easy to review and easy to standardize across the team. Next features is that native API versioning. A real problem behind these features is that previously this we know this API do not lives for a single year, so they are present for the many years, and we are using same API throughout the coming years. So once API is published, this the some mobile application is depend on it. There is some external partners who are using this API. This API are being commonly used by the teams. So changing this API like without the proper versioning cause the production failures, and there is a lot of issues will come up. And this Spring Framework 7 like treats the API evolution as an first class concern. So if we see this old code, you had to manually type the versions in a very single get mapping. And the problem is that this is mixing the logic and hard to test, and no clear separation. Like there is no deprecation mechanism as well. So now this Spring handle this very clearly. So you just tell the controller that, that the version is this one, and you can switch between the path, headers, and the parameters strategies in this one single configuration. So if you see this, we are using this REST controller, and we have having this version 1.1, and we are having the version 2.0. So it is depending upon the versions, it will automatically switch to this particular uh, features. Now, like now the Spring is handling this very clearly, and it's providing this multiple versioning as we see. The fourth feature is that null safety with JSpecify. There is no more null pointer exception. So previously, like null pointer exception has been the common source for like every production bugs. It gets like JSpecify annotations across the framework to make this nullable nullability explicitly. So if we see this in the earlier code, we used to this the who is consuming this particular method is not unclear, that it can be returning this string can be null or it may not be null. So in the new code, like if we pass this non null, then it is make sure this is not returning the null value, and it is if you use nullable annotation, it explicitly says this email can be the null. So if we run this now, you will see on the compile time itself only we will get this null pointer error. So we should handle this properly. And in the future we can see like a fewer null pointer exception. Next feature is that modern HTTP client, REST client. So currently we are using this REST template, and it is very much old. So REST template are designed for the different for a different times. So like it has no observability, a limited asynchronous support, and not a cloud native. So it is deprecated, and you might be using web client and the fin client also. But in this Spring 7 gives you something even better. That is the declarative HTTP client. So writing long REST template call to like exchange with the exchange method and setting the header manually. So this is very hard things, and not an very good ways to represent. So now you just need to define an interface like you do in the Spring Data JPA, and the Spring generate the implementation for you. So if you see this, we have created one interface called the user client, and for this get method we have used get exchange, and for the post method we have used post exchange, and this is this external API we have annotated with HTTP exchange. So this particular implementation will be done automatically by the Spring 7. So doing this, it is a like cleaner API and better. It is easier for the testing. 6 features, which is programmatically bean registrations. So if you are building like libraries and want now the super performance, then like doing this using this reflection, it is little bit slow. Now the Spring 7 beings like bean register. So you can register the bean using the Java logics like if else statement. So here if we see that we have called this bean implement this bean register interface, and the bean register object is created. So if you are still watching the video, I request you please subscribe to the channel, and if you have any feedback, you can provide in the comment section. So like that we can provide like customer service and default service depending upon the property. Next feature is like JMS client. So now with this messaging will be very uh, easy. So if you work in enterprise, you definitely use this message queue and you used to use JMS templates, which was okay, but it is nowadays become old. Spring 7 introduced like JMS client. So it is like if we see older, we use this JMS template dot send and with the some inner classes. And now we need to use this JMS client. So here we are not using JMS template. So this is much more useful. So that's we came to the end of this Spring Framework 7 major features. But we have not discussed this Spring Boot 4 major features. Of course, Spring Boot 4 internally using the Spring Framework 7, but they have used having the lot of more features on the Spring Boot 4, which is modularization. There is a now a new starter dependencies are there. There is a big changes to the monitoring. You can watch our next video where we'll be explaining like Spring Boot 4 major feature, and you can also watch the playlist. Thank you for watching the video.